Hi, everyone. Happy Labor Day weekend if you are in the United States or if you're in Canada. And for the rest of the world around us, I know you all had to work on Monday today, but yeah, the United States and Canada had it off. It's called Labor Day, and I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. It's kind of like represents the end of the summer to most people here. And it's back to school, back to work for most people tomorrow. So yeah, I feel sorry for you, the ones that have to go back to work. But it's a way of life, isn't it? And that's a bit of chaos in our life. But I just want to welcome you all tonight, and really want to thank you for showing up tonight when it is a holiday weekend. Sometimes things can run late, barbecues can run late, or out boating, or whatever you're doing. It can be a little bit later. So thank you so much for coming tonight. And if you're new to our Hangouts, please say hello in the chat roll. So many of you that are so good at showing up every week. You always welcome everybody too, and we love that about you. So if you are new, please do not be shy, because there's tons of people there that want to say hi to you. If you have questions, please put them in the chat roll. That's what we would like to see. Tonight's topic, it can create questions. You know, maybe you're handling something and you don't know how to get over it. So and it's creating a lot of chaos in your life. So write it down. Write a question down. We'll be glad to help you out. But tonight we do it for you. We motivate you. We inspire you. We give you what you need to get through the next week. And that's why we do these hangouts. We do it for you, the dreamer, the doer, the entrepreneur. And tonight's topic is a dandy. Like, how do you get over chaos to create confidence in your life? Well, there's two things that I know about chaos. And one is it's an excuse that people use so frequently. And two, chaos can be a wonderful motivator that can give you the confidence that you're looking for. So, as we said in the swipe, there's no getting around chaos. People detest chaos. We live with chaos, and it's going to happen. But some people think that they are targets for chaos, don't they? We all know those people. Um, it's like, gosh, I didn't get my blog done today because I had too much chaos going in my life, or I didn't get to my reading because there was just too much chaos, or I didn't get dinner made for the family because, oh my Lord, there was just too much chaos. And there you go. That little creep called chaos, he just sneaks into your life, and that's the reason everything's going to hell in a handbasket. Stop using chaos as an excuse, because that's not what it's all about. You can get around chaos. It's let me see. What did I say? We live in chaos. Oh yes. We live in chaos, and we often use it as a big excuse. But the fact of the matter is, people just live in chaos. It's in life. Like, for example, we're always going. We always have deadlines to meet. We always have places that we have to be. We always have 10 tabs open on our computer, and we always file our files someplace where we can't find them. And that can create chaos. And did you know that clutter and chaos, they're the best of buddies? I'm telling you, like, if you've got one, you can be pretty well rest assured that you've got the other one going on too. So if you have chaos going on in your life right now, or maybe you don't have chaos right now, it isn't a question of if you're going to get chaos. It is a question of when. And how are you going to deal with it? Now, first up, people often inflict chaos upon themselves. If you have a project that you're working on and you know you're under a deadline to get to it, well, it can just become chaotic or overwhelming. And people will use that as an excuse not to get done, instead of taking something and doing it in small increments. They would sooner put the dread in there. I dread doing it instead of saying, okay, I've got this project to do. I might not like it all, but I'm going to attack this with joy. So do it in small increments. Do half an hour a day. If there is a blog you've got to write, or if there's an email series that you've got to write, do it a half an hour a day. Whether you're doing your research for that half hour, whether you're actually writing one out for a half an hour, just do it for half an hour. Call it a day, and then go back to it the next day, and then the next day, and the next day. And you know what? Eventually it will become a habit. But it's like, it reminds me of the story of the lady that was on the subway, and she rode this subway every day. It took up a huge portion of her life. And she would go crazy on the subway because she knew she had things to do when she got home from work. And Christmas was coming, and one of the things she always did was she knit sweaters for the family. And she didn't have a clue how she was going to get to it. And because she was allowing the chaos to go on in her life, like, how am I going to get it done? She was under stress. And stress never accomplishes anything. So what she did to be able to get the sweaters done, she started knitting on the subway. And before you know it, after about a week of 15 minutes of knitting one way, 15 minutes of knitting coming home, she had a sweater done. Whereas it wouldn't have been done if she had just sat there and thought, I can't do this. When I get home, I've got too much to do. I'll be too tired. So you have to put yourself out there. You have to say, I can do this, and you need to start planning. I think I've experienced that more than anything in the last couple of weeks because, yeah, I laughed at you for all going back to work tomorrow, but what does they call that? Karma. Karmas can be a bit of a because I have gone back to work myself. Now, there's a bit of a story behind it. I didn't go back for the reasons that you might be thinking. It was more of a personal aspect that I had to go back to get a certain amount of units for my working experience in the United States so that I can be entitled to collecting free Social Security Medicaid benefits, I think is what it's called. I had not worked enough years here. So I had to go back to work for about 2 to 3 months in order to make enough money so that I could be eligible for these benefits. I was fortunate in the fact that I could approach my old boss and say, you know, can we work this out? I knew it was his busiest time of the year at work because it's budget season, and I knew he could use the help, and I also knew he could use somebody that already had experience, and it worked out that way. He was, yeah, more than willing to, so it's kind of a win-win. But what I've done to myself is I've put myself back into a toxic environment, and it only took me about 2 hours of being there to see that nothing had changed. But I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and perhaps I'm being put in that position right now, maybe to help somebody that's there too. Because out of 15 people, I don't see maybe 1, 2 that really actually like their job. So if I can help them in any way going, I will do that. But what is created on my end is tons of flipping chaos, because when am I getting my stuff done? And I was just in the middle of really getting close to launching my product, and boom, it just sent me back a few spaces. And then I thought, why am I letting this get the best of me? There is no reason I'm going to let this get the best of me, and I will get through it. So I started to get myself organized. I started to get myself planned. And yes, for the last 3 or 4 days, because I'm only working 30 weeks, I'm not or 30 hours, I'm not working 40. So I always get Friday off. So the last 4 days I've done nothing, but my head's been down and I've been working. And I love it. I feel so good about it. So turn your chaos into your confidence and say, I'm not going to let anything in the world stop me from getting where I'm going. It might take you a little bit longer to get to the end of the journey, but you'll get there. Do not let that evil SOB chaos stop you from doing what your dreams are made of, what your vision is made of, and what your goal is made of. Okay? So start planning. Don't use it as an excuse. Use it as a motivator, and it will create confidence, abundance. And that's about all I got to say tonight. So I'm going to move right along so that somebody else can say something too. And Morgan, I'm going to go to you. Okay, dear?
Awesome. Oh, thanks, Nidhi. I loved what you were saying. There's always chaos. I wrote down what you said. Agree to stop using chaos as an excuse. That is the best saying. I love it. My life is just absolutely full of chaos all the time. Like with when I didn't have my children, no chaos at all, pretty much. And then as soon as I've had them, it's like trying to constantly drowning and coming up for a breath of air, and then constantly drowning again, and then you get a breath of air. And the breath of air is when I am doing my work. So it's kind of, can you guys see me? Because I can see myself talking. Is that right? Am I on the screen? Yeah. Okay, so for me, my chaos is all around my life at all times, and then when I am doing my work for my business, that's when I feel like I'm breathing. So that's awesome. I wanted to share a little technique. I did a blog post about it, I don't know, a few months ago. It's called compartmentalizing, and it's a technique where you can kind of separate different areas of your life out so that one area of your life doesn't affect the other area. So basically, if you, like, your business is one area of your life, your family would be another area, your friends would be another area. You've got different areas of your life. And if you, for example, came home and you had a fight with your partner, or a fight with your children, or somebody smashed into your car, or something bad happened, that is like a separate compartment. And you need to learn to basically close that compartment and move on to the next compartment, which could be working. So it doesn't have to be something negative, so it could be something positive. So if you've got lots of different jobs to do, say you've got your finger in so many different pies that it gets so confusing and you just feel like you're in chaos all the time. Like you might have to do stuff with your children, stuff with your business, stuff with your husband or your family, or family, I don't know, make some food or something for some event coming up. Those are all different compartments, and what you can do is you can go into the compartment. It's like a house. So every room is a different compartment, and you basically go into that room, you work solidly and focusedly on that compartment. So I don't know, doing a blog post could be your work. So you go into the room, you do that, and then you basically shut the door, not literally, but shut the door, and then you move on to the next compartment, and you don't think about that last compartment. It's kind of gone, and then you're on to the next compartment, and then you do that, focus, leave the compartment, and move on to the next one. And it just kind of allows you to not confuse everything, not separate everything, separate everything, and so it's all kind of smooth running. I've been trying it in my own life, and it's really, really good. It does work. And it's good when you've had something happen in your life that's kind of upset you, or something that's come on board in your life. You can kind of push that to the side and say, no, I'm dealing with this right now. I'm gonna leave that behind. So you give it a try. There's different ways you can just kind of experiment with it, and different things that will work for you. The other thing I wanted to say was when you're feeling kind of in a lot of chaos, and you've got lots of things you need to do. Something that I sometimes do is I waste time doing things that I think are productive for my business, but they're actually just a procrastination tool, like going to my blog and changing everything on it for absolutely no reason. So you've just got to be careful that when you are in a lot of chaos, which is all around us at all times, you have to use your time really wisely. So if you have got 2 hours to do work, you want to feel like when you are leaving that 2-hour time frame that you feel like you've been productive, you feel confident, you feel like, yes, I've used that time wisely, and you don't leave that time feeling negative, because if you leave that time feeling negative, it's only going to kind of protrude onto everything else in your life, and then when you go back to do your work again, you're going to be having that negative energy from last time. So when you come into a space, allocate a space for work, like a 1 or 2 hour time frame, whatever you've got in that day. Write a list of what you're going to do in that time. So it's got to be specific. Don't sort of sit down, and I've said this so many times, but don't sit down at your desk thinking, okay, I've got 2 hours what am I going to do now? Because you'll spend like 15, 20 minutes trying to decide, trying to weigh out what's more important, what can I do? Oh, I don't feel like doing that, I don't feel like doing that. So before you sit down at your desk, you already know exactly what you're going to do, and you've made like time frames, like half an hour for this, half an hour for this, and then basically you just cut it off. So you do half an hour on your blog post, and then if it's not finished, that's it, move on to the next thing. And then at the end of the session, you're going to feel like, okay, I've actually done a little bit of everything. You're going to feel a lot more productive, and the chaos can die down once you've got your business like on track. I find for myself, when I'm behind in what I'm doing for my business, my life appears to be so much more chaotic than it really is. So, but if you are on top of your business, so if you've got sort of 5 things a day that you do for your business and you haven't done them, and it's like 7 o'clock at night and you're like, oh damn, I haven't done them, I've got to do them now. For your entire day prior to that 7 o'clock, you've probably had quite a chaotic day, because you're constantly trying to think, when can I slot this in, when can I do this, and the chaos around you will just form. But if you have your business out of the way, maybe in the morning, get it done, get it out of the way, and then your rest of the day will just be, it'll be magical, because you've done your stuff, you're feeling productive, and you'll probably actually get a lot more done, because when you've got a slot further on down the day, you might actually be thinking, I can actually do this as well. So for myself, I find that chaos will get worse and worse if I've put off my business stuff, and I get more agitated and more kind of in a bad mood at times if I haven't done my business stuff, because if I've been procrastinating on a day, or if I've put it to the side. So just keep remembering, if you are having a lazy day, or feeling like you're not that you're procrastinating on your business, just say to yourself, if I do this work, I'm going to feel better. If I do this, if I sit down for half an hour and draft my blog post, I will feel so much better. That feeling will be so much better than what I'm feeling right now. And give yourself permission to basically to feel good. Like you've got to say to yourself, this is going to help me. If I do this, I know I don't feel like doing it, but I deserve to feel good, and I deserve to have that feeling of accomplishment, so I'm going to do it. I'm just going to get on without thinking about it. I'm going to start doing it because I deserve to feel good in my business, and I know that if I do this, I will feel good, and then tomorrow I'll be able to wake up and be on more of a roll. So I think that all kind of relates to chaos, because for me, chaos, as I said before, chaos just comes in abundance when I am behind in what I am planning on doing in my business. So I'm probably just going to leave it there. Today I'll pass it back to you, Nettie. Thank you.
Thanks, Morgan. I think I see a pattern forming here for you people that are struggling with chaos, and we all do at some point or another. We're not immune to it. We've all been there. But the pattern that you're starting to see is do a little short period time of it, and Morgan added, do it first thing in the day to try and get it over with. And also plan for it. And so you're starting to see a little bit of a pattern, but I can't wait to see what Zen has to say, how she adds to it. So take it away, Zen.
Oh, my goodness. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but are you behind a...
Let me see. You know what? I've got a light. Is that better? Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Better.
Yeah, my lamp flashes right in my eyeball, so I tried to put it behind, but I think it causes a sheen on there, which, you know what, I love this panel, because Nettie, you're an awesome storyteller. Morgan, you're always good for pragmatic business sense, and we can always count on me for a little bit of the woo-woo now, can't we? So I just wanted to take you to this place, chaos theory, okay? And chaos theory actually plays out to the butterfly effect, okay, which means the batting of a wing of a butterfly in an environment causes an amazing tumbling of different events to occur, which leads to a different thing happening played out in the future. And if that butterfly flapped their wings a different way, it would play out a different way in some other environment. So let's bring that down to reality. That means what you do today, however you bat your butterfly wing, based on what Morgan just told you, based on the story that Nettie just told you, it affects your future. And I'm going to give you a prime example, and you can put in the chat roll if you really want to hear the story about my own one and only guru, because I'm going to tell you this right now. I wrote a post and I did a video the other day about gurus versus mentors. And I don't believe in giving people the status of guru, okay? And I said that. And then Erica left a comment saying, I don't either. And I think I responded with, I don't even assign that to spiritual leaders. But the truth is what happened from there, and this is the butterfly flapping of the wing, okay? I remembered that at one point in time I did have a guru, and in fact he still holds guru status for one reason. If you want to know the story, go ahead and put it in chat roll. I'll tell it in 30 seconds, but get ready for an intense woo-woo story, okay? But here's what happens. This is how energy flows with that flapping of the wing. I posted that video on gurus. Erica made that comment. I realized that I actually did remember this person, and I got an email from him. He's running a special class. Hadn't been in my email for, I'm going to say, a year. And so I texted him, and I asked him, how did we meet originally? We were texting back and forth, and as it turns out, he's moved to upstate New York. I told him I was moving to Shenzhen, and I was in the middle of all this chaos, you know, because I brought up the word chaos. Well, the essence of that was that he put me in touch with like a master marketer, online marketer. He's not in our business, but he's given my information to this guy who's a master online. So we'll see if I make that connect and where that will bring me. But what I wanted to tell you was about, you know, all those, there's something to all those C words: chaos, change, confidence. So what he kind of said to me, and interestingly enough, I had a conversation on the phone with my sister, because being in Shenzhen, I usually we text. You know, she said to me, I don't want to learn anything more in life. Not really. Not at my job. I just don't. I'm getting too old. And I started thinking about that. And so here's chaos, change, and having confidence. Here's where it comes into play, because here's the flexibility factor. Because with change, with chaos, with confidence in where your outcome is going, you are going to run into a bit of discomfort. You are going to have some inconvenience in your life and in your thinking momentarily. You are going to have a break from your predictable routine. Yeah. And you are going to have a period of not knowing. And then, here's the good part. The good part is that right now, you're gaining knowledge. And you may be in one of these three places right now, so I'm just going to read them off to you. Gaining knowledge. Application of your knowledge. And you shouldn't wait until you have all the knowledge to do application of your knowledge. Because I'm going to tell you right now, whether it's in entrepreneurship or out there with a job, and I was a hairstylist before. They didn't wait until we got all of our knowledge to start us on practical stuff. No, you learned and applied as you went along, so that you learned how to do it properly and where to correct your course as you moved along. Okay? Now bring that into internet marketing or online marketing, affiliate marketing, whatever your business you're in, or if you're in our business. Same thing. You have to keep on trying and tweaking till you get just the right fit for your personality, your market, your avatar, and you keep tweaking till you get exactly the outcome you're looking for. Okay? And then there comes a day of knowingness. You've got this day. Okay? And you still have to keep tweaking little things here and there, but you've got your basic package put together. You know who you are marketing to. They are attracted to you. You are engaged in the art of doing business with them, and you are having fun and have flexibility in your life, and you truly are living that life of freedom. Okay? So this brings me to my favorite thing, which in another post, or it might have been the same post, somebody commented, what is this 21 days thing to make a habit? And I'm going to tell you where it came from, because it originated with Maxwell Maltz, the writer of Psycho-Cybernetics, one of my favorite books that was the change agent in my life in my early 20s. Okay, he was a plastic surgeon, but he found in his practice that 21 days was the number where people magically stepped into their new self. They grabbed their self-image with that new look in the mirror or whatever it was that he had given them plastic surgery on. That's when they stepped into themselves, was after 21 days. So it became the norm for habituation. The truth is it can take from 18 days for certain people to 84. And that's what created the 90-day challenges in some things. And you've seen it online, 21-day challenges and 90-day challenges, because somewhere in between there is perfect for you. Could be 18 days for certain people, and it could be 84 for others. That doesn't make you better or worse. It's simply your learning and habituation process. So get to know what that is and habituate, because the more that you could put, repetition reinforces everything so that your brain can actively work on the things that you can't habituate, things that don't go on daily. So whatever you can habituate for your daily show up and be consistent part of your life and your online business, habituate it so that it becomes just second nature. It's automated, just as digesting your food is automated by your, your digestive system. It will become that ingrained in you if you practice the art of habituation. So whether you're a 21-day person or a 90-day person, figure that out about yourself and start to habituate, because that's your key to overcoming the chaos. Because right now, I'm in the middle of packing boxes, doing my business, missing my kid who's over there, kind of sorting through the boyfriend who is going to stay living here, and all these other factors that could in turn make someone crazy. And the truth is that in these moments, I deserve my nickname, and I'm going to leave it like that, because my chaos, I have to turn it into change and confidence so I can carry forward. But I wanted to give you this, because I read this line and I thought recently I actually activated this part of me, this weakest part of me, and luckily Nettie was there for me, and I thank you so much for that. I love you beyond belief, woman. So here, I'm going to read it to you, okay? Repetition reinforces, oh my God, I can't read my own handwriting. Brain waves, so in your weakest hours, you don't talk yourself out of your greatness. How massive is that? And I want to leave it right there, because that's so big it's going to make me cry. So I'm going to go. So back to you, Nettie.
Huge, Zen, huge. It's so true, isn't it? Repetition. I mean, how do babies learn to walk? How do babies learn to talk? It's repetition, repetition, repetition. But I do have one more thing to ask of you. People want to hear your story. The 30-second story about the guru.
Oh, they do. Okay. Well, get ready. Strap yourself into that seat, because, yeah, this is why he still has guru status, okay? Years ago, I took a mediation course through the LA Law Department. I had a friend who had it in, and I managed to get in this course even though I'm not an attorney, because I thought with my background in NLP I could work with family law and help people through mediation. Well, the truth is that they needed a lot of work with me to shift their energy and how they dealt with that other party before we entered that room, so it really turned me off, because I'm a big reader of energy, and I found it so hard to believe that two people who created these children that they were about to argue so vehemently about actually loved each other at one point in time, because it was never present in the room, and it freaked me out, so I couldn't do it unless they wanted to actively work with me first. And some of them, really, they were pretty stuck in their place of, what do you want to call it, hatred or whatever it was that was going on with the other party. So enough about that, but I was walking down the corridor with another friend, and I cannot remember her name now. I just texted him, what was her name that introduced us? But as we were walking and talking, he started asking me pointed questions about, do I believe in other dimensions, and different interesting kind of woo-woo sort of topics. And I said yes. And we kept talking, and we started talking about energy, and it was a really interesting conversation. And then we sat across from each other at a table of 4, and there were 2 people on either side of us. And he said, well, I want to show you something right now that I can do with my energy. And I can see that it's not going to freak you out. But no one else will be able to see this, and I want you to watch closely. And as he said it, he started to disappear from this part right here, and he brought it down to his neck, and he said, can you see this? And I said, I can not see this. And I was smiling because it just blew my mind. And I looked at my friends. They were talking. I said, do you see this? And they said, what? And they looked over at this guy, and they said, see what? And he brought himself back up, and he looked at me, and he goes, yeah, no, they cannot, because they are not in this energetic space with you and I. Do you understand that? And I just went, I guess. Needless to say, I followed up with him and took an intensive course with him, which actually is where the generation of my confidence actually comes from, because he went in ways that I can't even explain to you and showed me who the core of Lillian Zen truly is and how powerful, if I want it and want to activate it, actually is. But the fact that he could energetically control his matter, our space, this body, just knocked me right out of the water. And so because I thought I was the only one who saw it, I did go to a few of his meetings where he did it with other people who were in, I guess, what you'd call a like space. And we all saw it, and we all acknowledged it. And I just thought, wow, okay, that's a story I don't know if I could tell other people, because it's kind of mind-blowing. And so, you know, this will be interesting to see what you write in the chat roll, because it's not a case of, you know, oh, okay, I believe that Zen saw that. It's really not like that. It actually happened. So there's my story, and I'll hand it back to you, Nettie.
Honest to God, I hope you write a book someday, because every chapter, it's amazing what you've done and seen in your life. It's exciting, it's vibrant, and it's wonderful that you share it with us. I've never seen anything like that, but maybe I couldn't put myself into that state that you were in either.
Yeah, it's a trip, and you know, I guess he took a calculated risk based on our conversation that I wouldn't just start screaming in public.
Well, that was huge. I wish I had popcorn to listen to. Warning of that. It was good.
Funny, you know, I'm a popcorn addict too, right?
Yeah. I won't ask you what you were smoking that day, but anyway.
Oh, nothing like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I'm telling you, the universe, every day, it never ceases to amaze us. You know?
There's dimensions out there, and just like a butterfly wing, it takes an effect later in the future. I never thought I would be telling this story to any other living being, let alone a whole panel of whoever watches this Tilt hangout. So there you have it.
Let alone the rest of the world. I mean, this is a global hangout, you know, and that's amazing. And, you know, for all those people out there that are not, you know, haven't gotten themselves quite into a happy state in life yet, or don't feel that they're there, this is just an example of how when you are in those wonderful states and high energy states, how everything comes together and how good you feel.
Yeah.
And mind-blowing everything can be. And like you said, you know, if you dig down deep, you can do what you need to do to achieve success. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And Kristen, how would you like to take the floor and talk to us tonight?
Well, I would have preferred to take the floor before she told that story, because I'm pretty sure I'm never going to be able to follow up with that. I'm like trying to even right now come up with some creative story of something, and nothing. So I'm just going to stick with my notes, which is just going to be me. But I've been actually thinking a lot about. When I read the what we were talking about tonight, I was really excited because I just had a conversation yesterday with somebody, and we were talking about life and business and stuff, and to be honest with you, I can't even remember the 2 words he said. I can only remember one of the words he said, but he said that one of his mentors always talked to him about, I believe he said, managing perception. And so that's what I realized is all about chaos. It's really just about our perception and how we see our life and how we see our day-to-day going on. Really, every single person before me has mentioned this. You know, Nettie pointed out that in a lot of ways when we speak about chaos and we think our lives are so chaotic and that we're so busy, in the end, it really kind of boils down to excuses, at least for me. It boils down to making excuses because what Morgan pointed out is that we sometimes appear to be busy, we appear that chaos is going on, when in reality, if we had looked back in our day, we had time, we had ways to figure things out. But the procrastination kicks in. And then I'm going to do the flip of what Zen said about creating habits and habituating being able to live within chaos. The bottom line, the way I see it, is simply that you're either habituating a peaceful day of no matter what's going on, you can handle it, which is where the confidence come in. On the flip side, what we're really doing is just habituating the chaos, because it's about the stories we tell ourselves. You know, we're constantly, I'm sure somebody has told this story before of, I just don't have enough time in the day. If only I had more time. If only I didn't have so much to do. Life is just so hard. You know, I wasn't planning on having to do this. I wasn't planning on having to do that. We tell ourselves these stories. It's like a continuous reel going on in our heads. And the bottom line is we have more than enough time. Life is not hard. I don't care what you're facing. There's the whole cliche saying of, you know, you think your life is harder. There's always somebody else out there facing something worse. It comes down to, again, the stories that we're telling ourselves, the habituating beliefs that we hold on to about our day, because like we all pointed out, we all have chaos. So basically there's no chaos. It's just life. You know? There's really, in my mind, I create the chaos because of the stories I'm telling. And so how do you get over this? Well, you simply change your story. And that's where I believe what Zen says, creating the habits is so important. But it's about changing the stories in our head of what we're telling ourselves. If you wake up in the morning thinking about everything that you have to do, and the first thing you tell yourself is, oh my gosh, I wish I had more time in the day, I can guarantee you at the end of that day, you're going to look back and say, see, I didn't have enough time. You're going to prove yourself right. You're definitely not going to prove yourself wrong, because we just don't do that. I wish we did. Oh, now I'm going back. I just saw one of my notes, but I don't remember what it means. That's really, to be honest with you, that's all I have to say about tonight, because I truly believe that when you change the story going on in your head and you learn that you can handle, that's the other thing. It comes down to understanding that you can handle whatever you face. And I think it's important to go back into life and look at situations, and I can remember this in my own life. A few years back, I was faced with a situation that, to be honest with you, I thought my whole life was over. I thought that as a family we were never going to recover. I thought it was the end of my life. I thought nothing was ever going to be the same. And you know what? Now looking back, I'm like, oh, it's really because I didn't think we could handle what we had to go through. But now that we went through it, you're like, oh, that wasn't too bad. And that's how it is really with all of life and whatever we have to face. It's having that belief and that confidence that no matter what you face, you can handle it. So even when something unexpected happens in your life, acknowledge the fact that you can handle it. It's not outside of your control. You know, you can face it and you will deal with it because you have to. It's life. And the more you do that, the more you change your story, the more you create a different habit, then that's where the confidence comes in. Because you have that confidence to know that no matter what happens in your life, you can face it, even on a day-to-day basis, you know. So I'm really going to leave it at that because, I don't know, for me it's really seems that simple, I guess. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Thanks, Kristen. I just want to take a minute and capitalize on what you said about we convince ourselves of our stories. I know I touched on that too. And a lot of the times people will say, I didn't have the time to do it. That is a huge, huge excuse that people use. Now, in all fairness to people, I want to add that sometimes in your life there are things that are just, they are chaotic. Maybe you've got a spouse or a parent or someone that's in the hospital. You have to be there to stay with them. You have to visit. You can't get other things done. Please, I know that can be chaotic, and you're not just making up a statement because you just don't want to do something. that's the problem with chaos, is sometimes we make it up because we don't want to do it. And when I knew I had to go back to work, I was one of these ones that, well, for the 2.5 years that I've been out of work, I used to say, I don't know how people run their business at work. I don't know how they do it. And there I was, faced with it. And for the first few days, I had myself a great old pity party. It was just, I wasn't going to be able to do it. You know, for 4 days of the week, I just wasn't going to be able to do anything with my business. And for the first couple of days, that's exactly what I did. I didn't do anything. But then I got used to it, and I thought, I am not going to let this win. And that's the problem. So many people right off the bat, they say, I don't have time. I would really like to do this, but I don't have time. Just tell me the damn truth that you don't want to do it, because you have the time. It's not that. And I found out, like, I can now voice my opinion because now I've gone back to work and I've learned getting up a little earlier, or maybe even staying up a little bit late, or maybe not watching that TV show that I don't need to watch, and getting some work done. You can make your life just run as smooth and as slick as a glass street. So don't use that excuse about you don't have time, unless there is a major, major emergency going on in your family. It really doesn't hold water. You know, look at Morgan with her children. She's got the twins, and Zen is crazy, moving all around the world, and Kristen is busy too, and we have yet to hear from Erica. We are such busy people. But even this, every Monday night we bring you this because we love to do it. Fall in love with what you don't want to do. Okay? And at that, I'm going to move on and let Erica talk before I chew up all the time. Sorry.
I love it when you chew up the time. I could listen to you all night long. You know, it's really funny. When you were just talking then, Nettie, you brought up this thing about being busy and really, do we make up these excuses that we don't have time? And it always reminded me of something someone said to me one time. They said, "Excuse me, if you want something done, give it to a busy person." Mm-hmm. Yep. You know, excuse me, I'm having a coughing fit. Excuse me. So yeah, I always remember that. If you want something done, give it to a busy person. A couple of reasons for that. Normally, busy people are really, really good at prioritizing their time, and they know how to be super, super efficient, right? And so when I was thinking about this subject, I did a little bit of research, and I found a beautiful article that showed 5 ways to overcome chaos. So I'm just going to kind of read these ways off to you. But the thing that the article was talking about most was, and a lot of us don't want to hear this, is that we are energetic beings and we attract what we are, So if we are a chaotic, frazzled mess, that's what we're going to attract into our lives, right? So some of us, if we're finding a lot of chaos, we need to ask, well, how am I attracting this? How am I creating this? And whatever it is that you are doing to create it, go, okay, let's deal with this and get this out of the way, right? And like you mentioned, Eddie, of course, if you've got, things going on that are much bigger than just the normal day chaos that I'm referring to, of course, that's a completely, different kettle of fish. I'm just talking about the chaotic, frenetic pace of the day where we think, oh my God, I have no time, I can't get stuff done. So these are 5 ways that they came up with overcoming chaos. And one thing I really like that the article mentioned, look at your life like an obstacle course, right? You can either see your life like a challenging adventure, or you can just see it as stuff just getting in your way all the time. And me, I kind of like obstacles. For me, I'm like a little bit of a problem solver. And this is going to sound really kooky, but unless I'm really not struggling with something, I don't want to put it this way, but I love the struggle. I love it. I love the struggle. I love, when I've overcome something, and I noticed this the other day when we overcame something, a little piece of me was like, oh, well, what mountain am I going to climb now? I was looking for another mountain. So yeah, I do see life as an obstacle course, but I see it as a growing adventure. And every single rock and hurdle put in your way is an opportunity to learn so much more about yourself, to find out how deep you can really, really dig to move forward. All right. So here are the 5 ways that they suggest to deal with chaos. The first one is say stop or out. So literally sometimes, you know, some drama will come your way, or it could be some negative chatter and you start making up a story about stuff. I have this little thing, he's called my ego, and he sits on my shoulder here, and when he's telling me stuff that is just not serving me, I give him a flick. Like literally, I thank him for sharing and I flick him off. So their first advice is just say stop or out. If it's something that you can literally control with you know, changing the way you're thinking, just say stop or out. The second one, which I love, is stop, breathe, and seek inner guidance. I can't tell you how many times I have been in a stressful, chaotic situation, and I have simply just stopped where I am and given gratitude for everything that is going right in my life. You know, sometimes, you know, when we're faced with a lot of chaos, it can be really easy to allow that to overwhelm us, and we can't see what is working in our lives. You know, we go straight to what's not working, and we put so much attention on all of that that it can put us in a state that's not resourceful. You know, and so they literally say stop, breathe, and seek inner guidance, and practice gratitude. So for me, that's really, really super powerful. I know that you guys know, you've heard me say this thing, you know, quite a few times. Every night, you know, before I go to sleep, I thank God for 5 things. And there's, of course, my husband, my dog, a roof over my head, running water, and food in my belly. I figure if I've got those 5 things, I'm invincible. Like I can do anything, right? So sometimes just being grateful for the smallest things can really, really, I don't know, really, really help. Okay, moving on. Number 3, change your perspective and let it go. And ask the question, will this matter in a year's time? You know, sometimes when we're dealing with stuff, I do actually ask this question, in a year's time, will anyone care about this subject? And if they won't, then I've got to let go of my attachment to whatever it is that's causing me a bit of internal drama. So I thought that was really, really cool. Just ask yourself, will this matter in a year? And I find that when we ask those questions, like, will it matter in a year, 5 years, 10 years, it really does change the way we deal with some, you know, stuff that's coming up. Like, a lot of it is inconsequential, right? Number 4, this is a really good one, learn to be an observer instead of a participant. Not everything needs a reaction from you, right? So that's really good. You just step back. Just step back and observe. You don't actually have to get involved. You know, like sometimes you have these family situations where, let's say there's like, I don't know, a dozen of you at the table, and the drama happens at the other end of the table. Do you know it's okay to actually not jump into the drama? You can just like sit back and watch them go at it. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to join in, right? And that's sometimes how we can deal with chaos as well. You can realize that, hey, you don't actually have to jump in. It can just let it be. Just let it be. And the last one, which I do love, because I practice this a lot, is remove the source of the chaos. Okay, you know, you guys know me. If I don't like a situation, I'll just go to the other side of the world. I will remove the chaos. Now, I'm being flippant here. No, we can't all do that, right? But all my life, I've been a really, really firm believer that if a situation or a person or something is a thorn in my side, I will cut you out. I just will. I don't need that, right? If it's something that I cannot fix or solve or make amends with or whatever, and it's never going to serve me, I will remove it. I will just remove it, right? So that's it, my darling. The last one they said was be responsible for the energy you bring to the world, right? I think that's so lovely. I know I'm a bit Pollyanna-ish about this, but, you know, I remember when I was living a crappy, crappy life, you know, in my early 20s, before I found out about, you know, self-help books and gurus. That was a funny thing, Zen. I love that. I just had to jump on that thread. I was laughing because when we came into this industry, I heard this name guru being thrown around. I'm like, oh, stop it. You mean you're going to call someone who's worked out how to make a living on the internet a guru? No, that never sat well with me. So I just had to jump on that thread. And I said on Zen's thread, can you see anyone calling Donald Trump a guru of real estate? No, it would be embarrassing. Can you see anyone calling Warren Buffett a guru? And Warren going, yeah, man, I'm a guru. Like, it's just ridiculous. So why would that transcend to here? It's just ridiculous. So, yeah, I was completely with you on that one, Zen. No gurus, just mentors, coaches, and, yeah, really epic people. And now I've lost my train of thought completely. What was I saying? We're talking about gurus. Oh, I've got no idea. I completely distracted myself. Thank you for the pattern breaks in. But no, the last thing I did have in my notes was be responsible for the energy you bring to the world. So, that's what I was talking about, my pre-self-help book reading era. I look back and I realized I attracted everything. Like I was a drama magnet. It was like I was a heat-seeking missile. I was just looking for all of the crap that you could possibly throw in my head. My God, I would never want to repeat my 20s again, ever, ever. Don't ever give me that decade back. But it really, really made me realize that the more I read and the more courses I did and the calmer I became, the less shit I attracted into my life, right? So I hope that is not a down note to leave you all on, but yeah, if you are attracting a lot of chaos, just ask if there is some way that you can change something about you to change your energy in a way that you start just attracting beautiful, calm things into your life. And if you are having a little bit of chaos through no fault of your own, just breathe through it, because you're going to get through it one way or the other. It's up to you how you do that, right? So, darlings, that's it from me. I want to thank you so much for being here. It's always wonderful to go in the chat and see you guys turning up. So have a gorgeous week, darlings. I'm going to hand it back to Nettie.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you, thank you. And I agree with everything you said. I was going to say I couldn't agree with you more, but I just, everything you said is so absolutely true. And those are things, as you were saying them, that I have found myself doing in the last couple of years. And I put that down to self-help, self-development. They're not things that I used to do. I used to be, when things would get crazy, instead of breathing and just calming yourself down, you would yell or explode or do stupid things or say stupid things that you wish after you could take back, because it doesn't help. And that's the problem when people get into chaos, and we all get there. We don't let it get control. You take control of it. And like Erica said, one of the biggest things to do when you're in chaos is kick it to the curb. You don't need it. And that can be very difficult sometimes, but very necessary, and especially when you're trying to build your business, because you need to believe in yourself. And if you've got chaos going around in your world, chances are some of that chaos is other people throwing things at you, and simply they're doing it because they don't believe that you're really serious about this and achieving your success and your dreams and your goals. So kick things to the curb. If they're kids, you can't very well do that. But you can give them a timeout or send them to their room or give them a chore to do so that you can go and read for 15 minutes. You know, there's ways to get around it. So on that note, I hope we've helped you tonight. I hope we've helped with some little golden nugget. One of us has come out with something that you can look at and say, that's me, and that's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to get rid of it. That's how if you can't get rid of it, that's how you're going to be able to live with it. Okay? And in the meantime, if you've liked what you've seen, and our tribe, we're always looking for new members, because we just love getting like-minded people into our group, or people that come in and within a few months we see such a change in them. And if you think that you'd like to join our tribe, for heaven's sakes, click that link below that says let's get started. We would love to see you. And if somebody else invited you here tonight, then get back to that person and talk to them about, what actually goes on with our company and what goes on behind the scenes, or reach out to one of us. We'll gladly talk to you. But don't let another chaotic day go by. We're here for all of you. Our tribe is amazing, Total Inspired Living Tribe, and just click that button down below to get started with us. We would love to have you with us. Now, I want to tell you that next week we'll be back, same time, same place, different topic, and in the meantime, have a lovely week. Okay? Love you all, and we will see you soon.